Welcome to the IslandStats.com football show, your weekly dose of all the action from Bermuda's top football leagues. We bring you in-depth coverage of the Premier and First Division, results, highlights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. We also keep you up to date with the latest news and developments from the Bermuda Football Association. Stay tuned for the IslandStats.com football show, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the beautiful game in Bermuda. Now let's join the IslandStats.com football show team. Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the IslandStats.com football show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Andrew Griffith and co-host Garrett Punchy Dill. Gentlemen, first of all, good evening. Hopefully this gale force winds did not blow too much disruption into your lives, but it did affect the football schedule for this weekend. Let me just run down the scores of the matches that did take place, starting with Friday night. It was North Village Rams 0, PAC Zebras 1. And today it was Young Man Social Club 4, Devonshire Cougars 1. And in the First Division on Friday night, it was Wolves 2, Robin Hood 1. So those were the three games completed this weekend, with the match last night being postponed after the first 45 minutes due to the conditions, with Crossroads leading. Who were they leading? Oh, Boulevard Blazers. Yeah, Boulevard Blazers 1-0. So the match between Dendytown and Paget was not played. St. George's Colts and Devonshire Colts was not played, as well as the Somerset Southampton Rangers and Vasco Somerset Eagles matches. Those matches will be played probably sometime next week, as the select squad will be playing this week against the Hearts of Pine. So we haven't seen the team as of yet. So we're not sure if teams will have players in the team. So I guess those matches will be played next week. So let's just break down these three matches that were played, because they have significant impacts on the top of the table, the bottom of the table in the Premier Division, and the top of the table in the First Division. So let's start punching. North Village and PHC. Would you say this result almost puts an end to North Village's title defense?
Yeah, they would need a miracle if not just this particular score they lost, but also the games against Devonshire Colts.
Yeah,
I thought that's 9 points they've given up, 9 points, and I just think it's going to be I think you'll be talking about climbing Mount Everest, about the right gear to try to win this league. I just think, if I could say it wholeheartedly, I just think they're out of the race.
Yeah,
they need nothing less than a draw on Friday night.
Right, they're 5 points behind PAC, who are now the league leaders.
Exactly,
having played one more game than Dendytown and two more games than North Village. Devonshire Colts. So. Yeah, it just made it that much difficult. Griff, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree with Punchy. It's pretty much done. 5 points. That's a lot. Like, you need help, and you have to play lights out. I would say both teams played like they were desperate for the game. It was a scrappy game. So both teams were up for it.
Yeah. A well-taken goal, though. To spin inside the box and hit something that low, catching the goalkeeper off guard a bit, which had players in front of them as well. So it was kind of difficult. But North Village created some chances, but just they ran her begging. And a couple of crosses in the box. Guys couldn't get their heads to it, couldn't get the feet to it, couldn't get any part of the body to it. And not more, and not just once. It was several times. Punchy, what do you attribute that to?
I just think I talked to my nephews. I talked to my nephew and my son, who was also on the coaching staff. Had a discussion about that, and they were completely in agreement with what you're saying about, especially the finishing, the taking those chances in such an important game, which it didn't. it didn't work. It just didn't pan out. They had created quite a few chances, but in a game of this sort, with this so much on the line, they needed to score. And the other thing about this, as I've seen over it, you remember last year, the goal scoring, the people that scored a lot of goals were definitely Jai Bean and Jonte Smith. Jai's been out for a while, I think, and Jonte is not playing in his level that I've seen that we're used to. And goals are coming difficult to come by. Things, you can say sometimes that the things not falling for him, but I think he's struggling a little bit. And then with the goal scored, you got to look at who was scoring goals last year. Even though the Village at times weren't playing that good, they still were able to come up with victories.
Yeah.
That don't seem to be happening this year in these crucial games. And I think that's where they are now, where you got your leading goal scorer like Jonte Smith, Jai Bean, and Smith DeShields, who are not playing regular. And I always have that conversation with the coaches staff. Well, where are the goals coming from? Well, Jalen Harvey does score goals, doesn't he? Jalen Harvey and Amir Deal. So if that's not being done, where the rest of the goals going to come from? Your midfielders? I don't think they don't. That's where I'm seeing this. What we're talking about now. I'm seeing it happening now. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Griff, let me ask you a question, because I saw a few free kicks that never bothered the goalkeeper. It was almost like the person taking the shot was in two minds of what to do, either chip it into the box or have a shot, and 9 times out of 10 the ball ballooned over the top or went wide or something. The choices of having so many different guys taking free kicks, is that something that would need to be addressed?
I think when you're pressing and pressing and pressing, trying to get something, you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do, or you overhit stuff, or it is when you're in that situation and you're trying to hang on and make something, like you do things that are out of character. So I think they have it right, but it just didn't come off. Like you were saying before, in the second half, there were about 3 or 4 instances where it was like a goal mouth scramble in the 6-yard. And somehow it didn't go in. So it's gonna be those days, like sometimes it's just not your day. But PAC defended well. Like, it was 2 evenly matched teams, and it was bound to be one goal that would decide it, and it's gonna be it. That's what happened.
Yeah. What do you see North Village now concentrating on from here on in?
I think they're definitely going to hone in, because that probably is the FA Cup. But I think that they'll try to win every game just to finish strong.
Yeah, Punchy. So let me ask, what was the end result of the conversation with your son and your nephew? Because obviously they'd be disappointed knowing that mountain to climb to try and defend the trophy is they're at the bottom, and it's a mudslide right now. But what was some of the conversation, the end result in the conversation about where do they go from here?
I think again, Griffiths. Okay, I think we come to realization that there's a month decline to try to win the league now. You would have to win every single game, and then hopefully that PAC and Dennytown lose some games. But then you look at who are the next opponents. But the discussion was more about with them was more about what happened, what their success was last year, and how it was achieved. And I think that's what we talked about most of all. Where are the goals coming from, and how the goals were last year? Because again, I'm going to repeat myself. Last year, some games against Devonshire Cougars or Devonshire Wreck, we won the game, but I thought it was, which helped us to go and win the league. One of those games, the most important game out Devonshire Wreck. But again, it's not happening this year. And that's a perfect example of teams that are, especially when you are like second or third and you need that victory, you need it. I still think that, and again, that's something we discussed. The 2 games against Devonshire Colts, it was really, that's 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 losses was 6 points.
Right.
And I think it was another game too what we talked about, but that's very it was very difficult. And as soon as where Devonshire Colts are now, we just pinpointed we talked about those particular points with North Village this year.
Mm-hmm.
But it really goes down to the fact who's going to score the goals without the guys that were scoring goals last year.
Yeah. Well, let's turn our attention to PHC, now top of the table by 2 points over both Devonshire Colts and Dandytown. They have quietly been that team all season. They haven't like raged to the top or they've just been getting on with their business at hand. And now in a position where Devonshire Colts and Dandytown can't slip up because PHC already have their points. What do you think, Griff?
Yeah, after the game on Friday, because we always take flack for our picks. We took a little flack from, I don't know, call them by name, all the PHC coaches. Kyle Lightboy, McCoy Robinson, and Roderick Lewis. Why you guys don't believe on it? I guess, well, not so much you because you picked them. So why you guys don't believe? I said, well, if you didn't get flogged the week before, maybe I won't believe you. You're like, you guys are up and down. Oh, that was a penalty in it. Real card. I go on what I see. So you lost last week, and here you are this week. So if you're up and down, like people's gonna pick against you. It's natural. Right. So if they stay up and they can be as intense as they were against Village on Friday, they stand a good chance. But I keep saying I don't think that the powerhouse juggernaut team that they were from like 4 or 5 years ago, not the same, but maybe they can scrap out 1-0 with the remaining league games and get to the title.
Yeah. The obvious concern, Punchy, would be for PHC would be Devonshire Colts have the 2 games in hand because they still haven't ruled if there's going to be a replay with Paget or what's going to happen with that game. So PHC, although they have the 2-point lead on Devonshire Colts, they have 2 games in hand, and they have 1 game in hand on Dandytown as well, who, might I say, are playing Paget. So there's, something's got to give in that regard. Paget need points, and we'll get to that later on. But yeah, for PHC, looking at those 2 teams behind them, how do you think that sits well with them?
Well, I think what you guys are saying, dude, about they're going about their business quietly, aren't they? Just quietly, yeah. One thing I speak, Kyle and I have a conversation all the time, and Kyle comes watch all the top teams. Kyle will go to a game. He says, "Oh yeah, I'm coming to watch you guys." We're talking about at one time coaching the national team, the national program at the national level, and then you put him and Sequoia together. They can fix it. They can, Kyle does his homework. Getting back to Kyle, he does his homework. Yes. And there were certain things we talked about. What he said to me about what is, how he will go about playing against North Village. And, it's just that what's so good about it all that it comes down to, we're talking about the coaches in charge of these teams. Carl Lightboy and Sequoia Robertson, who are both been at the national level. Then down in North Village, of camp, there's Patches, my nephew, my son, and there's my nephew. They're doing a great, it gets down to now what I'm saying, what I said earlier in the program about coaches, and it really bodes well for the country, who are going to be doing the homework, how to set the team up. And I think PHC has been, like I said, it's been a quiet. They've been quiet. Nobody's spoken about it. But I think, with Enrique Russell, who can score those goals. Yeah. I just see him, even in the FA Cup draw. I think, I'll put them up, in terms of what they will win this year, because it's going to be a close race at this league with PHC and Dandytown. Definitely. Right. Yeah. I'm not sure if I can include Devonshire Colts in that. I think PHC are, like you said, quiet. those, the quiet warriors that are going to probably just sneak up with it. Yeah, I think that I really do. I do believe that, and that was an important victory for them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this game today, where Young Man Social Club defeated Devonshire Cougars 4-1 at Police Field. We'll be right back.
You ever crack open a Coke and just perfect?
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
Valentine's Day is about showing love in simple, thoughtful ways. Whether you're crafting the perfect meal at home or just looking for a sweet treat, at Lindo's, you'll find everything you need to make it special. It's easy to put something meaningful together at Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day, for over 135 years, it's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, at Police Field, there was only one game, one Premier Division game that took place today, and Young Man Social Club have pulled themselves out of the relegation position, and they've joined St. George's Colts on 10 points, with Paget on 9, and the Boulevard Blazers with the points they have. Obviously, we all picked Devonshire Cougars to win this game, but 4-1, Griff. It's got to be I would say a shock, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I said what the bleep when I heard it too. I couldn't believe that score. I'm wondering what happened. People injured. Where did hurricanes, force winds, blow the ball in the net 4 times for Social Club? What happened? I would be very interested to hear from somebody who was at the game. Well,
I spoke to somebody that was at the game, and they were like, Devonshire Cougars were never prepared to play the game. They probably thought that the game was going to be called off when it was on. They just never showed up, and the day just didn't go their way. And when you have guys in doubt like that, it always seems to be a trickle-down effect. Punchy, have you been in that position where you think, when you were thinking, this game ain't going to be played, or you think lesser of the opposition?
Actually, you guys, I went to see the second half of the game, and you guys, you hit it right on the head. They weren't prepared for that game, and the conditions were just unbelievable. But it suited Social Club.
Yes.
And Social Club, again, with their persistence, the never say die attitude, and I think the fourth goal was a good goal by Social Club.
Right.
And the only way that Devonshire Cougars came back in the game, they had a free kick. Wales, they were in the second half, they were going with the wind, but it's crosswind up there.
Right.
And it was a free kick, and the ball went over the goalkeeper's head a minute to the goal, Clay Dow. But he's playing Clay Dow and goal. But those conditions suited Social Club.
Right.
And they ran. I say maybe they need to think about it that all the time. Hey, can somebody give us that type of weather when we go down to Devonshire where I can play in North Village? Yeah, just over the field. But you know, they never say die attitude. It definitely benefited social from what I saw. So Cougars could the type of football they're playing. You know, they missed a few chances, but it was the conditions of what didn't very well for them, and
Right.
you can see it in trying to play on the back. And once social club got the ball, it was quick counterattacks.
Right.
Ball up, ball forward quick, win the second ball. And they just really, second half, they really, I told you I did. They have a lot of fight.
Right.
And the other important thing is when they were leading, I think, they got the last goal. It was a good goal, too. They dropped Zeke Lewis back in the midfield. And they he just settled the team down. But the conditions didn't play in Cuba. They looked like they were just like, this ain't working for us today. I didn't say the heads went on, but they just look like there's conditions they weren't prepared for. And I think you guys said it right. Maybe they thought the game was gonna be called off.
Right. You said something, Punchy, and I want to get Griff's opinion on it. You said they continue to play their style of play.
Yeah.
When you're up against adversity of conditions and a team that's just going to keep running at you, sometimes for a period of the game, do you think you should change that method and go more direct? Griff?
Oh yeah, the game that I scored, the last game I scored with Social Club, I tell you, their center half sweeper, he won every single high ball that came in. So if they switched up and they tried to do that, I would imagine that he will gobble up everything. So it will be difficult for them banging them long balls because his definitely winning all the high, but his tall and
Ryan Paris.
You're talking
about Ryan Paris.
Yeah, he bends the ball. So if they try that, I think they probably would have got frustrated and will revert back to the more technical game and trying to play with the speed. But if you win, stopping them from doing that, I can see that foiling the way that they want to play.
Yeah, and obviously being at what you saw, would they have tried in the second half, a little more direct as opposed to trying to play out of the back? Because at that time, they were down 2-0 at the half, and they are down 4-0 by the 67th minute.
That's right. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You guys are right. But again, it was a close win. And of course, so that game, that particular, the way the weather helped them. But, one thing is, again, about Cougars. When you up against stuff like that, when you up against that type, as soon as it was 2-0, maybe 2-0, you got to change the mentality of the players. I say, look, this is a game. This gamer, we got to do exactly what they're doing, and they just didn't, and they didn't change the style of play, and it was kind of I would say disappointing, but in those conditions, like you said, asking me, have I played? Yes, I have, especially Dawson Davids.
Right.
Well, you just got to grind it out, grind the game out. And Cougars didn't do that at all. They didn't do that at all.
Yeah. And we'll switch a bit to last night's game. Obviously, the wind came up as the game went on. The rain just made things very unsafe for everybody on the field and off the field. Because you could only imagine stuff flying around, the balls going all over the place, the tackles are going in. They become dangerous because obviously the wind's taking the ball. So, deciding on the benefit of safety, I think that the officials done the right thing to call it off. Would you prefer, or let me ask you, there's several scenarios to be played in this, because the association could say just go and play the next 45 minutes, or you replay the whole 90 minutes for a team like Boulevard, who were down 1-0. I know they would want to play the entire 90 minutes, go back to 0-0. What would you prefer if you were the coaching staff, Punchy, of Crossroads?
Yeah, I would only want to play the 45 minutes. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But that's a dilemma, isn't it? What do you do?
Yeah.
That's a very good point, though. I don't know. I can't say that I know, but the legalities of that, like what should happen now.
Right.
In terms of the way the law goes. So they got to replay the game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Or do they give the points? Which I don't know the laws. I didn't know that law, but I would say yeah. I don't want to play the game no more. Let's play 45 minutes. I was crossroads, and but Boulevard, I would want to play the whole 90 minutes again.
Yeah. I want to start
Yeah.
at 0. Yeah.
0-0. But that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But I say it would depend on the team though, because if Boulevards they know they have 14 solid players that they get now, and they don't have the full 20. Maybe they only want the 45. Say, all right, we could overturn one goal. We have to do it anyway. But
Right.
and you train for that game for 45 minutes. Go all out for 45. You ain't got to go for 90.
Right.
So
Right.
it might work for them.
Well, I mean, we had, I guess, waiting for the association to decide what's going to happen with that game. We'll have to go down the token pool because they've still got other games that they need to decide on when to be replayed, and that's taken over 3 months. So who knows? This one might be during the day of the FA Cup.
Yeah, that's a real interesting. You're right, Earl. That's a real interesting point about the organization of the football association. You know, people got to know exactly what's going on. Like, you don't leave them in the dark and saying, okay, all of a sudden you contact them and say, 2 days from now you got to play this game.
Right.
You know, they got to come out with a format. They got to be upfront and say, listen, okay, this is what's going to go on. I'm talking about starting now, so that they would know, the players would know how to get themselves prepared for these games that would come up.
Yes.
It's very important about that.
It is. Let's go to Friday night in the first division because it was an all-important match. Robin Hood, if they would have won, would have guaranteed promotion. But Wolves have been a terror side this side of the season. I know we all picked Robin Hood, but Wolves have definitely sent out a message that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. You saw them, Punchy, play, and Griff, you saw them play against Somerset. And Somerset edged them out 1-0. But this time around, they got the better of Robin Hood. Now, that leaves the door open for Somerset to take the lead in the league, you know, when they get that match played against Southampton Rangers. And believe it or not, it's only after that, there's only, 3 games left in the 3 games left in the first division. Robin Hood has played 9. There's only 7 teams, so you only play 6. You only play 12 games. So, and Robin Hood and Somerset will play before the season's out that second time, and that will be to decide who wins. But it looks as if Somerset win their game against Southampton Rangers, that would guarantee them promotion. But just the thought of Robin Hood losing to Wolves, Griff.
I keep saying after I saw him play against Somerset, there was no difference between Somerset and Wolves. They looked like 2 equally matched teams. They fought hard. They had their chances. Somerset looked maybe a little fitter, a little slimmer because the players are younger, but skill-wise and competitively, there was not much to choose from in that game. So I was a bit surprised when I got to the field and found out that Wolves were up. And I watched the last 10 minutes, whatever, and they were fighting hard. Like, so they definitely came to play. And I'm wondering because you asked me at the game, it wasn't very windy, although it was a windy day. It wasn't very windy at Bermuda. It wasn't raining, so the conditions didn't do anything. So Wolves definitely deserve to win.
Punchy, you always talk about Wolves and going by the training sessions and so forth, and talking to 1 or 2 of the players. They're always like, now we have a point to prove. We're not just down there having a kick. We're supposed to be reckoning it. But the problem is they left it too late to challenge. If they would have had these type of results at the start of the season, then they'd be in the conversation of that promotion battle. But I just think that they've left it well too late to be included in that talks, because they've only got 11 points, and Somerset have 19 with a game in hand.
Oh yeah, that's it. That result is it's too late for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not going to be promoted. I don't see them being promoted.
No.
But they can cause havoc with the other teams, just like the result against Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always talk about when I look at when I look at Robin Hoods, they have a young team. Sergio's first year out there,
Mm-hmm.
but then we're going to talk about Wolves players who have been together for so time, which someone a bit of time over the years, and they're not really producing. They haven't the results, and we ask ourselves, well, we're talking about this, why not? And all of a sudden now, look what they're doing, and I think it's coming too late. It's too late for them.
Right.
You know, yeah, definitely.
I do want to point out one thing, that the only team mathematically right now that can catch Somerset is Southampton Rangers. They've only played 6 games and they have 8 points. So they're 3 games behind, right? Which will give them 17 points if they won all 3 games, and they'll be 2 points behind Somerset. That, you know, everybody else is pretty much up to par. Wolves have played 9. Somerset Eagles have played 7. If they won their 2 games, that will put them on 17 as well. So, you know, for the first division, if Somerset win this game against Southampton Rangers, it all but ends everything, because the other 5 teams would be no way they could catch them, them or Robin Hood. So it's a matter of Somerset taking care of business. And again, if Southampton Rangers pull the upset and beat Somerset, it throws a lot of stuff up in the air. As we know, Southampton Rangers under new leadership with Hunt as the coach, experience from, you know, coming from a league championship team, all of that. But, you know, have these teams left their challenges too late, Griff?
No, I don't think it's too late. It's never too late to play good football. You spend all that time training, and you're going out there on a rainy Tuesday night in February to training. You want to get some reward for it. So if they keep fighting hard, they should get the just rewards. But I think the real important thing though is if they finish strong and the players have some hope as to what could happen next season, then that stops teams from potentially pilfering the good players and then them struggling again next year. So if they have some light at the end of the tunnel, maybe those players stick around and they'll be better for it next season.
If Somerset go up, do they go knocking on the door of Somerset Eagles players that have kind of come in at the end of at the second half of this season and help that team to grow?
Sure, I think you reach out to all the players in your team. Hey, all your friends on the edge, or you got friends that play for town teams that live in Somerset. Talk to them. Like we don't want to go back down. We want to stay up. So I think all the teams that come up try to do the best they can in recruiting to make themselves stronger, because it's unlikely that you stay up if you have the same team that you have in the first division.
Punchy, let me ask you, does Keyshawn Bean switch to the coaching staff if Robin Hood go up, or does him and Torrin Manders play another season?
That's a good question. I would think both. I'm sure that Keyshawn and Manders have had input into the way the team plays, but they're getting up there in the 40s. Keyshawn's reading the 40s. To be promoted and play at that level every Sunday, then Saturday nights, Friday nights, and then his job and his family. Again, with Torrin also, they're up in age, and those 2 probably senior players on that team. Right. It's going to be a real task for them if they're promoted. Yeah. What would you do with Keyshawn? You would need to keep somebody like that in shape, perfect shape, in good shape. Right. This is, again, you're playing against the Vascos on a Sunday afternoon or 12:30. You're playing against, let's see who else, Wolves. You're playing against some Eagles. You're playing against Rangers. But the task, what they would have to deal with is that when you're playing against the quicker, much quicker players, and definitely better players all around that you're going to be playing against.
Right.
I think that's a good question. I think what we talk about also is how will Robin will recruit players, especially players that they need in certain positions. Definitely.
Well, let's take our second.
I'd be on that.
Let
me just be in on that one because I think that we're going to hit on body types. Is people like I say Gumbo or Jamaica. People with these smaller frames that don't put on weight, they can go in the summer and maybe by August after cup match, they got to drop 4 or 5 pounds to get back into shape. Bigger guys that put on weight, which Keith Shannon's is at the issue with weight. He can put on 10, 12, 15 pounds easily over the summer not playing football. So when you hit over 35, it's hard taking that weight off after cup match. It's a fight. And you find as you push and push and push, you end up getting injured when you're older, fighting to take that weight off. So it's not easy playing the older you get.
Yeah.
Very good point. Yeah, it's a good fit. I mean, and then he has a job, his work and his family. To stay in shape, a person at that age, and then training twice a week. And like I said, training twice a week, and then you got to get ready for a Friday night game. I think that's also, when we see how the schedule is changing Bermuda in terms of guys playing Friday nights and Saturday afternoons. What about his family time? You got to ask all those questions for these players. You got to okay, how does it work for you? But I think when you get older like that, Griff, and you have to spend a lot of time staying in shape. Yeah, physically in shape at 35, and I mean most of those guys like used to was playing at the Corona League. Now you're gonna ask them to play next year if they get promoted to play at what level against PHCs and it's gonna take a lot. Yeah, and that's where recruitment would have to come in the certain positions for Robin Hood. Yeah, but don't forget now, what's their intentions? Yeah.
The club's going to have to make a decision.
Oh, yes, they will.
But they have to also let the players know what the intent is, because if the intent is to go up for 1 year, get experience, if we get relegated, then we come down and we regroup and then go back and know what to expect. That's one thing, but everybody has to be on board for that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a conversation, a club conversation with the team that, okay, this is the potential of what we can do, and this is the end result. So let's see what happens. But
but I think remember what Griff was saying last year. Maybe got to come into to say, listen, no offense, some of your players not playing. We can kind of we talking about finances. We can put you out on loan, and maybe that's the discussion that's got to be had. I think Griff touched on that last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
you roll out from one of these bike stores. A couple of new bikes. You got a couple of new bikes. Who wants one?
Someone to entice them. Yeah, but that's a food for thought, man. That's really is true. Like, okay, you take some of Norfolk's players, or you take Denny Town's players, but sit on the bench, and you keep them for maybe half of the season. But how does this work in a system that's an amateur, amateur league?
Yeah.
There are questions to be asked about that.
Do we have another transfer window?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be
January transfer window. We have a November one.
Yeah, I believe it can work.
Yeah.
I mean, not work, but I'm saying, our country and your allegiance to your club and your neighborhood. Wow.
But they turn around and say, because the November window is you haven't played for the club that you're leaving.
Right.
The January window could say if you haven't played 3 games for the club that you're representing, then you can kind of move on.
Yeah. I think maybe that's what the country's got to be deciding, or the associate's got to be deciding, or stuff like that. At least you have the conversation about it. Sure. So there's no way that the Robin Hood's going to be. They just need players. They need better. They need a center forward. They need some other midfielders, and they need some a good center half. So that's what I would be looking at.
Well, they could go and recruit from Bascom FC, who's under 18 guys will be looking to play senior football.
Yeah,
some of them are already filtered into some clubs, but there's an opportunity for others to get involved, and that type of thing. So.
Well, that's good too.
So what happens if Hamilton Parish comes back in next year? They start all over. They need 20 players for their roster.
It's coming down to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming down.
What happens if BA decides to come back in? That's another 20 players.
Yeah. See, I think again, good point, Griffith and Earl. Discussion is so now you're going to restart your program in Hamilton Parish or at Robin Hood, and you're looking at the limited amount of good players that you can go try to reel in. Where are they? But you really got to do your homework now and go after them.
Yeah.
So that said, should there be less teams so that the quality is and not watered down by having more teams?
You know what? I've heard that conversation before, but when we start talking about quality, we've had quality with more teams.
Man, because if you're talking about 10, 15 years ago, a lot of those players are not in Bermuda anymore.
Well, yeah.
You have more people away in school, more people living in the UK, and so the same players that existed 10, 15 years ago does not exist now.
Now, but there's the same clubs exist.
And that's why some of the clubs are dropping out. They don't have enough players.
Some of the clubs that don't play football no more is their own doing why they're not in the league. It's not because of quality or anything like that. It's the club's own doings. Okay? You look at BAA. BAA got all these players from North Village, from all these other clubs. When the coach left, they left. So the guys that were there that was helping BAA stay alive got pushed to the side, right? And when those players left, they had already gone off to do something else. Same thing with Hamilton Parish. Hamilton Parish got a whole influx of different guys. So the guys that were there that kept Hamilton Parish alive for years and years and years got pushed to the side. When those guys decided to leave, those guys had decided to do something else. So that's the club's own doing. It's not whether or not the quality is there or not. It's the club's own doings.
But I would argue if y'all been there and you get pushed out so easily, it's because the new players are better than you. You were in quality to begin with.
Yeah, but here lies the problem. That what the club's expectations of you was to keep the program going. But when you went and hired somebody different, the club's emphasis is now being pushed aside as well because all they're looking at is winning. So they go out and get who they think should help them win.
Well, I'm gonna just just come in on that because so what do we think with Sergio Guto? What were the questions? They didn't have enough players, or what happened there?
You remember when we had Sergio on, he told us that he wasn't planning to go nowhere.
Yeah.
The players decided they were going to leave. So when the players decided they were going to leave, that's when he had to look at other options. Because he realized he didn't have a team anymore. But if you look at the guys that were leaving, some of them had Hamilton Parish roots and others didn't. So the guys that were playing 3 seasons before that kept Hamilton Parish going all those years, right? Decided, hey, look, I'm gonna go do something else, man. Yeah.
But yeah, when you say all those years, those guys are also aged out too.
Well,
but playing in your 30s.
But they were willing to hang around, just like the guys before them. They were willing to hang around because eventually they knew that when the next crop of guys come through, they'll make a push for promotion. Yeah? But those players were pushed aside, all of them pushed aside.
So Ask the BFA should have these stats. Ask them how many registered players they had 20 years ago and how many registered players they have now. I'm pretty sure it's significantly less.
Yeah.
Who's that? How many parish? Or any team?
No, I'm talking in general. Overall.
Oh, yeah. More than likely. Yeah. More than likely. Yeah. Well, actually, it's probably less because remember, back in the day, you weren't registered as a junior player. Only when you went to the juniors, 16, right? But anything under that, you weren't a registered player because you didn't have to submit a team sheet. But now
I'm talking about Premier and First Division players.
Oh, the numbers wise? Well, yeah, it's going to be less only because you have less teams now.
But if you follow your logic and those players still wanted to play, they would have been dispersed to all the other teams. So instead of having a roster of, I don't know, 20 players, you have a roster of 23 now if all those players went to other teams.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what happened. I think it's just less players, or some players stop playing.
Yeah, because a lot of players that are abroad have been abroad since they were 10, 11, 12. Yes? So it's not really affecting the numbers of 16, 17, 18 yet. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll get back into the conversation, look at our picks, and go from there. We'll be right back.
Super Bowl Sunday is all about the gathering, cheering, and sharing good food. At Lindo's, you'll find everything you need for game day. Wings, snacks, drinks, dips, and easy options everyone will enjoy. Stock up ahead of time, keep things simple, and enjoy every moment of the game with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Pink sands beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, the silence proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
And welcome back. Well, these type of conversations are just food for thought. I'm pretty sure other people have had these type of conversations, expressing, their thoughts and concerns for football in Bermuda. And, we just need to keep having them and offer suggestions of how we can improve them. So, that's the way to look forward. Let's get into, we only have the 3 games that were completed this weekend in the picks. So believe it or not,
0. You got 1.
All 0. I took a draw with PAC and North Village. You two took North Village. The old took Cougars over Young Man Social Club, and we know Social Club won that 4-1. And we all took Robin Hood over Wolves, and Wolves won that 2-1. So what is left? Boulevard Blazers and Crossroads. Punchy, you want to stay with Blazers because we both took Blazers, and Griff, you want to stay with a draw?
Ooh, I we should leave it on there.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
The game hasn't started, so you have a chance to change it if you want.
I'll leave it.
Okay. St. George's and Colts. St. George's and Devonshire Colts. I took St. George's. You both have taken Devonshire Colts. We've all taken the Hornets over Paget. We've all taken the Trojans over Eagles. Over Rangers, and we've all taken Eagles over Vasco. So this week we know that a Bermuda Select will play Hearts of Pine on, I think it's Thursday night, and then Sunday. Yeah, 5th and 8th.
Where are they from?
Hearts of Pine.
Yeah,
Somewhere East Coast.
East Coast somewhere. All right.
Well, let's put it like this: they'll rather be in this little cool than the cool that's going to come from. Yeah. So
they'll probably go in swimming.
Yeah, that's the recovery for them and punishment for the Bermuda players.
Yeah.
So,
let's have a barbecue and go swimming.
Yeah. So obviously the games that would be for next week have been pushed back. So let me ask you guys, because we have a few minutes. The FA Cup quarterfinal draw took place last week. Which matchup is the one that you're looking forward to the most?
Can you go with the matchups, Earl? Can you read?
Yeah.
Sure. The matchups were Devonshire Colts are pitted against Crossroads. PHC will take on Boulevard Blazers. St. George's Colts will face Devonshire Cougars. And North Village Rams, the cup holders, will face Paget Lions.
Wow. Based on the results that's happened this weekend, I think there's interesting.
St. George's will feel they have a chance. St. George's will feel they have a good chance against Devonshire Cougars. We remember that game ended 3-3. St. George's was up, I think, 2-0, and then ended up 3-3. Paget have had a number for North Village. They've matched them up really well over the last 2 seasons. That should be interesting. It's a cup game, PHC and Boulevard. Who knows? And
that one, I think if PHC is legit and they want to do the double, that they should come out firming at their mouth to run right over Boulevard.
Right. I think, and I said it, the interesting one is Devonshire Colts and Crossroads. Devonshire Colts have dominated Crossroads this season somewhat. And Crossroads would want this will be their last opportunity to go at them, and they would want to, prove a point to them that, they are there to play. So I think that one will be a very, very intense, interesting game.
Where's that game?
Well, Devonshire Colts came up first, so I don't know. Well, possibly Police Field.
Police Field? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that
would
be
be. Yeah, and the game between Devonshire Cougars and St. George's is where?
It would be at Wellington Oval.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a very intriguing game there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's some interesting matchups. And I think the sentiment is PHC should have an easy time with Boulevard by the current standings. But as we know, it's a cup game. Anything can happen. If Boulevard show up with the right mindset and the ball bounce is right for them, it just like in any cup game, we've seen it in the English Premier League where minnows have destroyed Premier Division teams because they come in trying to save their players. Yeah, they try to save the players, so they put on a different team, and once the rut sets in, it's very difficult to change it. So,
and the question would be who's home in that match?
PHC.
I can't see no rebound on that.
Yeah,
I give you my heads up on that. No, not at PHC. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
Cinderella smoking a cigarette on his side.
Yeah, that's, I don't see that happen. No, I don't really see that happening, you guys.
and
No.
North Village are home to Paget. So
That's going to be a difficult one. That's a very intriguing game, too.
yeah, I've said that Paget over the last 2 seasons have squared up well against
With North Village. Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Yeah. So I mean,
And that game's at the park, at Bernard Park.
Well, yeah, because North Village came out first. So yeah, it'll be interesting what happens over the next 2 weeks, because the FA Cup was scheduled to be the next round after these league games would have been played. But I don't know if they pushed the entire schedule back. We have to wait to see, and then we take it from there. But if these teams have quote unquote 2 weeks to prepare for that FA Cup game, and depending on how many players they have in this select over the next week, if I'm looking at Boulevard probably will have 1 or 2 players, if any, in the select, so they get to train all together for this one game, and then try to save the season by staying up. But the one game is going to be the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Hey, let me let our mom, some of the Paget fans spit out the soup that they're drinking for dinner tonight. If they don't fly players home for the FA Cup, they're just gonna eat them up. Make sure you start getting your plane tickets ready.
What are you trying to say, Greg? What are you trying to say?
What are you trying to say? Yeah.
Be prepared. Phillies are gonna eat them up.
Or be eaten up. Well, guys, we'll be back next week, Sunday, obviously, to talk about these 2 select games, as well as the under-17 boys will have kicked off on Friday, their first match in Honduras, and we'll be able to give an update on that. We want to wish them all the best and congratulate the under-17 girls for their battle in the World Cup qualifiers here at the National Stadium last week.
When do we find out who's the best second place teams?
Well,
tomorrow?
Depends on when these other games are played. I know there were some games played on Friday. I will look to see if some games were played today. Actually, let me just have a quick check.
Some games today, yeah.
And good.
I saw that Trinity just lost 7-0 to somebody. I was surprised at that.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, Trinidad and Jamaica in this age group, have not dominated like they have at the senior level. So
I was actually by some family members of the girls to speak about the girl.
So one second place team is already on 9 points. You have the Group C, Haiti has 9 points from 3 games. Guatemala has 7 points from 3 games. Then Group D, Honduras has 9 points from 3 games. Jamaica has 7 points from 3 games. And then in Group E, Bermuda, officially Bermuda is eliminated because Cuba and Costa Rica have 9 points. So there's two second place teams already got more points than Bermuda. So officially Bermuda have been eliminated from the under-17 World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, well, you guys, I was actually, you guys speak about the girls. I think, just how well they done, how they, this league and what they participate in, because, what we guys talked about, but they really, did well, represent the country well. I thought against the last game, that's what we're talking about, reaching those heights. I think Panama technically were a little better, with quite a bit of how they play. But I think Bermuda represented themselves really well, adjusted well. And again, with what I keep saying to people, these teams that we are beating, like Suriname, and I was surprised by Suriname, and the other team, the Bonaire, of course, there was supposed to be, that's supposed to be a victory in itself. But, at least we'll start to get there. We're not there yet, but that's what we guys talk about, what happens next. And kudos to all the coaching staff and for the people that came out for the last game. And wow, what a terrific game too. Maybe there was a bad call. I thought it was a terrible call for the
penalty.
second goal. The free kick. Oh yeah, I was sitting right there. No, there was not a foul. But those things happen in football.
Yeah.
But you know, to see that and to see how well the girls played, you know, the game got a little spicy, didn't it, at times, didn't it?
Yeah.
It sure did.
I think that Alderbridge is a player. The composure she had when she got the pass and took that goal and slotted it into the back of the net. Even as she walked around, she had a little bit of a swagger, like on the field. And when it got dicey, even her stepping in and like breaking up these skirmishes, she's like a take charge sort of player.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's hope the boys can take the extra step and get to the next level. So, you know, it's up to them starting Friday. They're in Florida right now, and they'll move over to Honduras on the 4th and kick off on the 6th. So all the best to the boys, and we'll have an update with them next week Sunday here on the show. Okay?
All right.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your night.